Mangosuthu Buthelezi, traditional prime minister to the Zulu Nation and Monarch, will brief the media at the Kwakhethomthandayo Royal Palace in KwaNongoma, KwaZulu-Natal, about the latest developments pertaining to this week's activities to honor His Majesty the King Goodwill Zwelithini, kaBhekuzulu. Reporter Anna Mhlongo joins us now. A buzz of activity, no doubt, there where you are in Nongoma. Earlier on, we saw politicians, we saw the EFF coming, we saw Ace Makashule coming through. But what's important at this time, of course, is the media briefing that we'll be getting shortly then from Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. Tell us what's happening right now at Nongoma, Ayanda.
Well, good afternoon to you, Flo. Certainly, as you're saying, it has been a very, very busy day. From early this morning, mourners have been coming through, taking turns to go and convey their respects and condolences to the royal family. And behind us, you can possibly see another large group of mourners that have also come through. And what they're doing now, Flo, is some come bearing gifts, and we see that this group has come with 4 cows, and there has been procedure here is that when the mourners come through and those that have brought cows as a gesture to the royal family, they present themselves here to the traditional leaders and also a representative from the royal household. They then introduce themselves and then are allowed to go through into the palace. Of course, as you're saying that at 3, it was supposed to have started at 3 p.m. In fact, the press briefing by Mangosuthu Buthelezi, we are told that there are just a few other issues that they are now trying to resolve, and that press briefing should then start at around 3:45 this afternoon. As you said, it's about giving us an update on this week's activities. Of course, the royal household is putting together the final preparations for the planting of His Majesty King Goodwill Zwelithini tomorrow. Earlier on today, we spoke to his brother Prince Tulani Zulu, who indicated to us that tomorrow afternoon, towards the early evening, the king's body will then be fetched from a local mortuary, will be brought here to Kwakhethomthandayo Royal Palace, and rituals will then be performed, and then later on in the night, Amabutho and males in the royal family will then go off to KwaZulu-Natal Palace, to Emakhosini, which will be the grounds where His Majesty will be laid to rest. While, of course, the royal family will be dealing with the preparations in terms of the funeral of His Majesty, or the planting of His Majesty. We've also seen activity from the logistical point of view. As I said, the memorial service will take place inside the royal palace, and so we've seen trucks come through as they've been preparing the grounds. Marquees have been gone through as they now prepare and set up for the memorial service, which will take place on Thursday. Flo?
Right, and then in terms of the memorial service, do we have an indication at this point about who will be in attendance? I mean, yesterday, if I remember correctly, when I did speak to you, you did tell me about the fact that President Cyril Ramaphosa will be delivering the eulogy. Are we clearer as to what roles perhaps that other dignitaries will be playing when it comes to the memorial service?
Flo, that detail that the President will be delivering the eulogy so far is the only information that we've been able to receive, and one presumes that this media briefing this afternoon by Mangosuthu Buthelezi will shed more light. Of course, we do expect that there will be representatives of government. Today, the Deputy President, David Mabuza, was also here. He also came to convey his condolences to the royal family. We're unsure at the moment whether or not he will be present. We understand that there will be representatives from other kingdoms and monarchs across South Africa and coming from outside of the country. Of course, then there will be members of the royal family. Earlier on in the week, Mangosuthu Buthelezi had also informed us that not all the members of the royal family will attend the memorial service due to the number. In fact, he said that if you had to count all the members of the royal family, they themselves alone far exceed the permitted numbers under the lockdown regulations, and so we understand that from each palace floor they are going to be selecting people, those members of the royal family who will then be in attendance. So far those are the people that we are expecting, Flo, to be part of or to attend the memorial service. But I must also add, Flo, that due to the numbers of people that they're expecting, despite the fact that the royal family has tried and made an appeal for the members of the public not to come, it seems like they have not had much luck. Thousands of people are expected to flock to kwaNongoma, and so what the municipality has done is that they have now set up 3 areas: a local stadium, a taxi rank, and an indoor center, and there they're going to put up big screens for the public then to be able to follow the proceedings at the memorial service. In fact, also just across from where we are afloat, there's an open field. We understand that other people will also be accommodated there as well. Flo?
I'm assuming, Ayanda, that no media will be allowed at the actual ceremony, the Ukutshalwa Wenkosi ceremony, and I wonder at what point do you stop as the media in the process. And I suppose some of these things you'll also get clarity later on, Ayanda. The Ukutshalwa ceremony is happening at midnight, I understand, tomorrow. And, I'm just wondering, there will be a high media contingency. I mean, we'll remember even at the time of when Utata Nelson Mandela passed away, I mean, at any hour, there was a large media presence outside his Houghton home, and I consider that this will be, to a larger extent, we will see that happening. I just would like to know if there is clarity at this point as to where they cut you off as the media. Do you know? Do you have an idea? I mean, you've been there throughout, and I'm just wondering what will happen at midnight when the process does indeed start.
Yeah, well, Flo, important question you're asking, because certainly there's been so much interest in what will happen. How will the king be laid to rest? There's been talk of whether or not in the actual grave, whether he'll be lying, whether he will be seated in the grave. And so there's been so much interest in terms of the rituals. And I mean, this is the first time in 50 years that a monarch here in KwaZulu has passed on, and so a lot of people would not have known what happened in the late King Cyprian kaBhekuzulu had passed on, and so there's great interest. But in terms of us as the members of the media, the royal family has asked us to respect the family, to say yes, tomorrow we will be able to come through, but they are going to give us a cut-off point where they're then going to say to us that we are no longer allowed to follow these proceedings. Of course, tomorrow afternoon they will then collect His Majesty's remains, and because it is going to be in an open road, I would guess there that they might have not a lot of control in terms of who captures at that moment, but presumably as soon as the king's body is brought into the palace, then that will be a cut-off. And then again in the evening, it's going to be late at night. All they have told us is that they've asked the members of the media and the public to respect that it is going to be a private ceremony. All right,
let's leave it there for now. We'll catch up with you as soon as Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi does indeed get started with that press briefing, and we'll certainly, I suppose, have a chat then after that. And I'm thanks very much to you indeed there for us in Nongoma. We'll catch up with you later.